how are elders appointed? We saw in Acts that Paul and Barnabas went around appointing elders. And then in Timothy and Titus, Paul says, I left you in Crete with the sole responsibility of appointing elders. And then in Timothy, it says, he who desires the work of an elder desires a good thing, but here are the qualifications. So who appoints elders? The first set was appointed by apostles. Now we don't have apostles today. So who appoints elders? In a church planting situation, elders are recognized. Elders are recognized rather than appointed. What do I mean? For example, we have a new township coming up in Chimbora South. Big township comes up. Then some people happen to find themselves living in that township, and they happen to be brethren, maybe 2, 3, 4 families happen to be from brethren background, and they come to know each other, and they said, Bethel Chapel is very far, and that is very far. Why don't we start a fellowship? So they started home, Bible study group. And as they go along, they say, why don't we constitute a church and start breaking bread? Okay? And so a church is planted by the people, a new situation where a new church is planted, and some of those among them who have the ability leadership assume the responsibility of becoming elders. They simply recognize if there are 5 brethren there, their wives, and they are all capable brethren, they can assume they can become elders. And then they start witnessing, and others join them, and they baptize, and the church grows. So in such a church planting situation, elders are recognized. In a situation where an existing church, like Bethel Chapel, plants a church in the riverside, okay? It is the responsibility of the mother church to go and appoint elders in the daughter church. After some time, of course, they will assume responsibility, and they can see from the growth and maturity of some of the members after teaching and discipleship and so on and so forth. They can recognize that there are some who can take the role of leadership, maybe jointly with some from Bethel Chapel, the mother church. Eventually, they can emerge leaders in that church appointed by the mother church. Now, in the existing church, the common method of appointing church elders is that the existing church, the existing elders would appoint other elders, other people to join them as elders. That's the most common. I've gone round Zambia, that's the most common. Even in the UK or overseas, that's the most common. But then the other method could be by asking the congregation to choose elders by submitting the names of those that they feel and they think qualified to be elders. And also the elders, existing elders, could carry out a consultation, consulting the people, widely as possible, who they think would qualify to be an elder, so that the congregation has an input. If they recommend a bad elder and it gives them problems, they have only themselves to blame because they chose that elder. And they have an input in the process. So, and I've been in some churches where they will ask the congregation to choose who they want to add into the existing elders. The congregation will choose. The problem with the existing elders choosing people to join them as elders is that it can be open to discrimination, abuse, or personal vendetta. In other words, one who is not obedient to the elders, to show that you are independent of that, you will never be chosen because you are not obedient to the elders. However much you qualify. If they have something against you, finish. They say Charles will never be an elder here, and that's finished. They'll judge you, that's your fate. However much you qualify, and also some people would want to give favors. I've seen this a number of times. Want to give favors to the existing elders. They have a meeting, you sponsor the meeting. Go anywhere, give and so on. Very good, a lot of favors. So that when it comes to choosing the elders, he will stand a very good chance because he has bribed his way into the eldership. And also, the aspect of discrimination comes into it. I've seen churches, a number of churches, where when choosing the elders, they'll say, we want to balance people from Northwestern Province, 5 elders. About who are 5 elders. Even useless people, they will choose them just to balance. I've seen this. I've seen this in Chiwepara where one man who was chosen because he was a teacher, then he could be a secretary, and he was hopeless and useless. And it was terrible consequences for the church. He went to another church, again he was given the eldership. And again there were terrible consequences. He had a particular problem. And when we were at an elders meeting, I pointed out. And then they told him, so he came to see me in September. You told me, at the elders meeting, you said I'm a drunkard, I'm not supposed to be an elder. I'll sue you to court. I said, go ahead. He never sued me to court until he died. So you have issues like that. If you differ with the elders, and they strike you down. Finish. So that's the only problem with the elders appointing other elders. Elders, especially in the brethren, they do not resign. Except for very few exceptional cases where the elder will resign, but they don't resign. They are pushed out. And you have to push very hard. I've seen elders, even actually speaking churches, who are old, or they have not even been to church because of health problems, they have not been to church for 5 years. They don't resign. They still want to maintain themselves as elders. With those that cannot work, they are hopeless and useless. Talking about stepping down, no. So some of them, they have problems. Maybe a drink problem and so on and so forth. If the other elders are fearing him, they can't remove him, he'll be there. So you have to push, and you have to push very hard. Because according to the system we have, elders are there for life. So sometimes churches suffer because they cannot remove an elder, because of this concept that the elder is there for life. Okay?